In this video, I'm going to give you some search tips on finding stuff using Inforbix. I'm going to be giving you two cases. One where you know exactly what you're looking for, and the other case, you know approximately what you're looking for. And my objective here is not to show you the only way to narrow down on finding your stuff using Inforbix, but to give you some hints on ways that you can actually find your things, because in every company, the naming conventions and the way people organize their stuff is different. So Inforbix does provide you the tools to be able to narrow down on what you want. So let's get started. In the first case, I'm going to provide you with three scenarios. I know that I want a particular SolidWorks drawing. In the first case, I know just one thing about it. I know one attribute. It's a title. The title of the drawing, it's called the video encoder. Now I might know other attributes such as who saved it last, or who checked it last, or who approved it. But for this example, I know that that the title of this particular SolidWorks drawing that I'm looking for is the video encoder. So let's see how we find it. So I'm going to be flipping back and forth here. So here's the Inforbix home app, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with a category because I know that I want all the SolidWorks drawings in my company. Okay, so I'm just going to hit drawing, I'm going to hit return, and now I should get an aggregation of all drawings, all SolidWorks drawings in my company, which is about 4,700 of those. Now the next thing I'm going to do is, these are some of the tools that Inforbix provides. These are the search tools, or rather the filtering tools. I'm now going to do a little advanced filter. All that tells me is that I can search for particular attributes. So in this case, I'm going to be looking for the title, and I'm just going to go ahead and enter the title of that particular drawing. So it's the video encoder, and let's see what happens here. Okay, so here it is. So, and because I know specifically what I'm looking for, I have found it. Now, keep in mind that if this was in my hard drive, then I probably could have just gone in and found it. But chances are that this is sitting in some folder structure somewhere in the company. Okay, so I'm searching across all the different locations and sources within my company for this particular drawing. Now, let's go back here and let's go to scenario number 2. Because in scenario number 2, I only know the part number for this particular drawing. So let's see how we can go about and search for that. So let's go back home here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Find Data. Find Data is basically where I have the Inforbix search application. And I'm just going to go ahead and enter the part number, 145F104. Okay? So that's the naming convention for part numbers in my company, which includes for drawings. So let's enter that and see what happens. Okay? So sure enough, I get as a first result the part number that I'm looking for. Okay, actually this is the part number right here. Now, you'll notice that there are Excel files and there's assemblies and a bunch of other stuff. So what I'd like to do is I just want the SolidWorks drawing for it. Okay, so I will just filter here for the SolidWorks drawing, and I apply that filter, and now I should just have, well, in this case, 2 of them, right? This is the checked one. This is the actual SolidWorks drawing. Now, if I want to absolutely make sure, Inforbix aggregates all the attributes known in the company, right, that I could have searched against as well. And here's the title. This is the video encoder. So I know that I found exactly the drawing that I am looking for. Okay, so now let's go back and let's look at the final scenario in this case, where I'm looking for a file name. Now, there's a subtle difference between a part number and a file name. A part number is specifically, in this case, the part number that I'm using in my company for all elements of product data. File names are where they're stored. Okay? Now, the reason I want to show you this is because some people might be tempted to search using a full file name. So let's see what happens here. I'm going to go back to home, and I'm going to do the same thing I started in the first scenario. I'm going to go and get my SolidWorks drawing. Okay? But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to search. I get the 4,700, same results as before. But if I insist on searching with a file name, I'm just going to search within the search, because now what I've narrowed the search to is just to the set of all SolidWorks drawings. And now let's see what happens. So I'm just going to enter the file name, 145F104. If I haven't made a mistake there, I'm going to press return, and let's see what happens. It's going to search, and sure enough, it has indeed found the file name, right? And it's also found the drawing, and here's the file name again. So the important thing is I found what I was looking for. Okay, there's another way that you can do this, and this is just a little hint. If you do want to use just a search, right, try including the whole file name within quotes. Because what that does is, at least it tells Inforbix, look, this is specifically the file and the full text name, and treat that dash not as a space or anything else, but literally as a dash. So let's see what happens here. If I enclose the file name in quotes, sure enough, now I get a similar result to what I got before. Again, it's going to give me every instance of where that particular text string appears. So in this case, within the cell of an Excel sheet, and an assembly, etc. So just as before, what I want to do is that since I know I'm looking for a SolidWorks drawing, I will just filter for that. And sure enough, I'm going to now get the same results as before. So again, I've narrowed it down. Okay, let me go back home here, and let's go to the second case that I wanted to share with you. In this case, I know approximately what I want. In the first case, I knew exactly what I wanted. I was looking for one particular SolidWorks drawing. In this case, I am looking for all the bolts that are supplied by a particular vendor. I don't know how many I'm going to find. I know what I'm looking for, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to find. Okay, so it's a little bit of a discovery. And I'm going to give you two scenarios. The first scenario is I want to find all the bolts, and I know, two attributes, right? I know that it's a bolt, and I know that it's the manufacturing vendor is Aero Marine. Okay, so let's see how I can go ahead about in finding that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I could go here and say, well, give me all the SolidWorks drawings or the AutoCAD blocks or whatever. But to be honest, I don't know in this case that there's a particular category of files that I'm looking for. All I know is that they're bolts and they're manufactured by Aero Marine, and I don't care whether it returns any particular CAD type or file type. So what I'm going to do is, I just want to, don't lead you wrong here, I want to create a report. I'm just going to use a table, the Inforbix table, because I'm going to be able to do a little bit of slicing and dicing here. I'm going to enter bolt, right? And what Inforbix is now going to do is it's going to aggregate every single file type and document in my company that has something to do with bolt. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, the first thing is I know two things. I want a description, and yeah, that's the bolt. The second thing is a manufacturing vendor. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to on the fly create a column here that gives me an opportunity to add an additional column to this table that includes manufacturing vendor. So there it is. I'm just going to take it here, drag and drop it right next to description. I'm going to hit OK. Okay, now I've got description, I've got manufacturing vendor, I've got 3,400 results. I'm going to show the filter. So now I'm just on the fly going to go ahead and filter for what I'm looking for. So this is Aero Marine. Let's see what happens here. So I'm going from 33 to 7 results. Look at that. Okay, so these are the results. So now I know that these are all the bolts that have been supplied by this particular supplier, Aero Marine. Okay, follow what I'm doing here? Let me give you one last case, okay, which is, now in this case, I want to find all the Aero Marine. I'm not going to start with the bolt. I might want to just start with Aero Marine. It's just a different way to get at the same information, okay? So suppose I would have started, instead of entering bolt, I just enter Aero Marine and create a report. Let's see what happens here. Okay. So notice I do get a manufacturing vendor because Inforbix figures, well, I'm going to guess that Aero Marine appears as a manufacturing vendor, but I don't have a description. And again, I get all these different file types, right? There's, in this case, 1,499. So a slightly different take at this particular search. So what I'm going to do is, like before, I'm going to go ahead and choose a particular column. In this case, I want description, okay? So I'm going to enter description here. I'm going to just move it to where it was before. I'm going to enter, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to filter, and I think you start getting the picture. The manufacturing vendor is Aero Marine, and the description is Bolt. And I should get, exactly as before, 7 results. So now I have narrowed again the search to what I wanted. So let me go back here. So what I've done is giving you some tips on how to search, depending on whether you know exactly what you want or if you know approximately what you want. Inforbix gives you all the tools that you need to be able to find and locate what you're looking for, because in every company it's slightly different. And the important thing is that rather than spending hours and hours trying to manually find something, Inforbix will give you the tools to automate that and make your life a lot easier. Thank you.